I remember that my son asked me after my first expedition that, because he knew about that first expedition later, and he asked me about that first expedition into the Indians, living with the Indians, learning that language. He asked me, "And when did you return?" I told him I never returned. I stayed there in a certain way. I learned so much of the people, so much of the enormous information that they had, and the value that they had because of that information. I realized that any of the men I had met, living with them, speaking with them, was able to construct the whole world again. They could know what to plant, what to eat, how to process, how to make a basket, where getting the material, how to make a boat, how to make the paddles, how to fish, how to capture animals, how to make their weapons. And I realized, as they accused me to be so, that I was a child. I was a child in the world, in my world that never matures. But when I went there and I started learning, I realized that I was part, not of nature, I was being built as a human being, in the sense that I was able to restore, if I would study what they were doing as I was doing, restore the whole civilization again, their civilization. So I learned step by step everything they were doing, almost. And I was almost considered like a man among them. I realized that they had an information that we didn't have. They have a maturity and the power and the sense of power that gives you to know that you can control the whole environment that you have. We don't have that sense. We are whacked from one side to the other. We are absolutely destroyed by any kind of catastrophe. And if we have a big catastrophe, we won't be able to do anything, because what we have are shoes, good shoes, a brand, television, satellites, the Blackberries or whatever. None of those we can make. We can acquire them. And this is another kind of values. The value of the consumerism. What I learned from these people was the value of being able to build everything you need. And in that sense, you are the owner of everything. The world is yours then, because you can make everything your imagination needs. So I learned to try to cope in my own culture, following the trends, following the steps of everything that I could build, make. This is what I learned from them. To try to be a whole man, a man that has the power to construct in base of the surroundings you have. That they acquire. We don't have it. This sleeve is for making roofs, and this one is for packing and making bundles in order to cook inside a fire.
Charles is clear to make the distinction that he is not a taxonomist. However, this has not stopped him from discovering and helping to discover hundreds of new plants and animals for the world. 28 of these plants and animals have been named after him. But, as he says, these are only 28 of perhaps a couple of thousand new species yet to be discovered.
I'll show you a plant that has not been discovered. We're going to look at it for the first time. It will be the first group that will ever look at this plant that I consider was new. I took a picture and I sent it to several specialists like Gebnish, like Bruce Halls, like bamboo, and they say, we don't know what it is. They are the top of your botanical garden, the Zoo Botanical Gardens, Shelby Botanical Gardens. They say, we don't know. You should know. Yes, I know it's new. Well, tell me what it is. Tell me the family. Tell me the genera. We don't know. It's something spectacular. Pick us some of these leaves and bring it to us so we can make an ADN analysis. I will not pick it up. I want them to come with me to share with them that discovery. And in this case, I was able to look at this plant and say, it is odd. It is odd against all the information I have in my hard disk. The way the leaves are assembled, the way that the leaves have the spiral, the texture of the leaves, it looks like nothing known yet. So maybe when you have your film, we have this film, we will know what plant is this. I send out one leaf to make the DNA and check what it is. I don't want to take the plant or one plant because it's a unique plant that is known in the whole mountain till now. Maybe more items like this will be discovered or will be found, but right now it's the only one I have found and that no one else has seen it. It will take 200 years for anyone to find a new family. So this is a very exciting moment in the sense that it's a unique situation to find maybe a new family and to find a new genera. That is extraordinary.
When you walk with him, he has devoted his life to explore and to gather knowledge of what surrounds him in the moment he's exploring.
But you might squish them all and take the grubs and eat them. There.
I don't think he will ever, or I really hope, he'll never be in a survival position. But it would be very nice to know that if you're flying over the jungle all the time, helicopters, planes, whatever, if you land in the jungle, how are you going to be able to survive? So it's a very comforting thing to know that you will be able to survive. If you survive the crash or the accident, you'll be able to live in the forest forever.
I consider I have the world record. 2.3 seconds has been filmed. I didn't hear the clappings. When I mean exploring, when I mean discovering, it's not necessarily to discover in nature. It's to discover in any field that you like. You might be discovering in mathematics, you might be discovering business, you might be discovering advertising, you might be discovering fashion. You might push the frontiers, the border of the knowledge beyond what it is. That's what I mean to discover. That's what I mean to explore. Explore your world, your own world. It doesn't have to be the world of jungles. Can be the world of the city, the world of your environment. And that environment could be your own place. That environment could be you, a successful filmmaker or a fashion designer. You can explore in those fields and just progress. This is what I mean to discover and to explore. And this is what I mean of keeping young, always thinking in new things to come. There's no limit for human imagination and discovery. Discovery is a property of men, or a feature that man has. And since he was able to discover, he was able to be the dominant animal in the world. When we took off in the airplane, I was looking through the window and looking towards the future. I was looking and imagining myself, how would that be in the future? How would it be destroyed? Or it would be burned out because the jungle is being burned because of lack of respect to the information it yields. And I was trying to see if I might never return back. So I was looking as a farewell to that place. And I was sad because if I don't come back, if I don't bring the ideas I have to try to save these people, save them from themselves, because they have lost the faith on themselves. So I'm trying to restore the faith in their values. And this anguish, this hopeless, this powerless situation which I feel is what I was looking out by the window. I was looking at the future of destruction if we don't do anything. Yes, I have devoted my life to explore and discover. And the important thing about this is that in a certain way I have never been other thing than a child. So as a child I have been growing with the idea of discovering, as any little boy will do. Explore the surrounding, discover every day. So the anxiety that keeps me on the move is to see the horizon and go beyond, is to discover things that never have been seen before or heard or even thought about. And this is what the life is about. If you continue on discovering and looking around you and exploring in any field of life, then you will never get old. You may grow in years, but not old, because you're always in that sense. So that, I think, will be an advice for the young people, to keep on exploring, to keep on discovering. That will take them all the way, all their life, to have a really fruitful life and full of wonders.